What? Is I'm rolling? Man, look, Coach Jack Daniels at the Boxers Trader Shop. And look, reason why I'm smiling. First of all, look, welcome back to the channel. Right. The reason why I'm smiling because I had made mention of the fact that I needed to start doing some upgrading to my podcast so I can be a little more competitive when it comes to um, being more advanced, right, with different techniques, right, and be able to accrete a more indicting um, podcast in the sense that those podcasts that um, do well, right? They have spent a lot of time creating the type of atmosphere that people clamor to come back to, like that boxing voice, right? Um, there's a few that you guys happen to like, and for the record, I want to be one of those podcasts, right? That people clamor to get back to, and I'm going to get there. I am going to get there. You heard me? Let me say it again. I am going to get back. I'm going to get to the point where people enjoy uh, coming to my podcast, right, and listening to me uh, get on with it about some boxing, right? Again, I love boxing. Absolutely, unequivocally, I love boxing. I love boxing. I've been in the sport of boxing 40 years, right? 40 years. I was a late bloomer in the boxing game, right? So I was around like 25, 26 when I started, right? And actually, it's really ironic that I'm gonna share this tidbit, right? And when I was young, I was kind of silly, right? So I got caught up, in the negative things in life, right? So I put myself in a position where I had to do some time, right? And so um, I went to this institution called uh, Chino. Chino, right? Chino was in Mahomes, California. No, excuse me, it wasn't now California. It was in Chico. I think it was Chico, California, up south, down south, right? And Coach Garcia, what, what did that dude? What did that dude's name? Uh, Robert Garcia, right? Robert Garcia used to bring his younger brother, and they was professional boxers then, to the institution, right? And they would come in to the gym and work and whatever. And so one day I happened to be in the gym, right? And they was in there. I was like, damn, these dudes are professional boxers, right? And I was like, I wonder if I can do it. And they had all the equipment necessary to engage in boxing if that's what you want to do, right? At that time, the institution allowed inmates to have weights and everything associated with sports. You was allowed that, but they took that away. Right. They got intimidated. The guards got intimidated because those cats was having like 22-inch arms and stuff of that nature. And they got intimidated, took all this stuff away. And it's still haven't getting back to the state. And that was like, what, 30 years ago. But anyway, Robert Garcia used to come to the institution with his younger brothers, right? And it was either Rock was boxing or one of his brothers. I'm not sure which one it was, but the Garcias did come to it was CMI. That's it was CMI, right? And that's where I actually started. Going to the gym and that was the first time I ever touched a bag, right? There was a gym and I was like, uh, didn't know a thing about boxing. Didn't just I was just so overwhelmed by being in the presence of professional boxers, right? So I hit the bag and it was actually I was kind of what I'm saying, took him back by the laughing, right? But I shook it off and I just kept my towel. But there on, I took an interest in boxing, right? And I was around kids, right? They had previously been professional boxers, like Sammy Pascal. No one knows him. Heard of Sammy Pascal was actually the person who started me in the art of boxing with Sammy Pascal. He's from California, as was the case with Sonny Carter. Sonny Carter was heavyweight professional boxer, right? And he used to always say he would be a shadow boxer. Bow, bow, right? He would always be shadow boxing. Right? And like, it was like, damn. And so when I saw this, I would be so fascinated. I just look at it, right? He didn't know that I had interest, like, and sometimes he had, wait a minute, hold on. See that back. Right. I got to the point where I was engaged in boxing. Sometimes we would, you know what I'm saying? He was heavyweight, I was like middleweight, right? But what could he do? He was heavyweight. I was middleweight. How could he touch me? If you know what you're doing, how could he touch me? You know what I mean? And so I would get it, oh, I mean, we mess around. But the point I'm trying to make is that the sport of boxing is a awesome sport, and I was just elated to be in a position where I can deliver when it comes to the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? We can have a conversation about the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? So this is what this is about today. This is about, right, me having a conversation about um Red Taya versus Andy Cruz, right? We're specifically referring to the Saturday night fight between Raymond Martano and Andy Cruz. And Martano won, right? But it was a deep fight. It was very competitive, very engaging, right? They put on a pretty good show, right? In boxing, they boxed, right? I mean, you know what I mean? 12 rounds, right? No knockdown, you know what I mean? Marshall again won, but it could have went either way as far as I was concerned, right? As a competitive trainer and a level of the sport, right? It could have easily went either way. But in my opinion, Andy Cruz didn't do enough to take it out the hand of the champion. Martai was a champion, right? He is the IBF uh, super lightweight champion of the world, right? So, and the way that um, a promoter, a boxer, a judge views judges fights is, especially for the championship fight, right? You got to go in there and you got to take that from the champion, right? You can't go in there and expect to outpoint him and you hit him and hit you. That ain't enough. You you can take it out of the hands of the champion, right? If you're that good to where you can engage the champion and and the crew did engage him, right? It was tit for tat, whole 12 rounds, right? But in my opinion, Andy Cruz, as much as I love Andy Cruz, he didn't do enough to take it out of Marty's hand, right? So can't take nothing from my time, right? The fact of the matter is, my issue today is with Eddie Hearns. Eddie Hearns has a history, you know what I'm saying, of saying things that are bad for the sport of boxing is concerned, right? Especially as a promoter, especially in this instance, whereas you're talking bad about boxing, you're promoting. Eddie Hearns promotes Andy Cruz. Now, I don't know if that was a scapegoat for Andy Cruz, the way that he made it seem like that Mark Tyer uh, beat the brakes off of Andy Cruz, right? I mean, Eddie Hearns made it seem like that he was promoting Morataya and not Eddie Cruz. He was talking big in regards to what he thought about the fight and how Morataya really beat uh, uh, and it cools up, right? I mean, it's one thing to um, support and believe in shit, right? And you want to say what you really believe, but give me a break. I mean, to the extent where it makes it seem like that. I'm gonna say this again. Eddie Hearns has a history talking bad about people, boxers in general, black boxers specifically, right? He has a habit of talking totally negative, especially when it comes to black boxers, right? I mean, he can somehow find a way to sneak something in nasty about black boxers. Torrance Crawford, Devin Haney. I mean, you could add Cruz to the list. There's many more, right? You know, it just appears that Eddie Hearns has a nasty disposition when it comes to black boxers. I said it, but that's what it appears to me, right? And I'm not the only one that feels like that, right? All the best commentators in the business, right? Aki Boxing, he thinks so too. You know, I'm not bringing nobody, these guys into the fray, right? Because it's something that derogatory. No, these are facts, right? I mentioned Monkey Boxing because Monkey Boxing sees the same thing that I see. Right? And if I'm not mistaken, the boxing voice, right, has said the same thing about it. A lot of people have said this about Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn seems to be have a tendency to pick on black boxers. I said it. Okay. He needs to grow up when it comes to that, right? Because I like Eddie Hearns as a promoter because he puts on excellent fights and he got a lot of people don't make business. Eddie Hearns seems to always come up with a good stable, right? With a lot of good boxers. Contrary to the fact that you have Golden Boy. Golden Boy is shred water as far as I'm concerned, as far as championship uh, uh, class boxers are concerned, right? Because he's down to Virgil Ortiz. Who else they got in there that's of championship caliber? Who else does Golden Boy have of championship caliber other than um, Virgil Ortiz? And it looks like Virgil Ortiz is on its way out the back door, getting away from Virgil um, Oscar De La Hoya, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that uh, De La Hoya is on his last leg when it comes down to world class boxers. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I can always revert back to Ink Pro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't think of any other good boxers that a Golden Boy has other than right now, other than um, uh, Virgil Ortiz. But is his own, no, that he's about to lose Virgil Ortiz because Virgil Ortiz wants to fight Boots. But really, I get it. What Oscar is really saying, right? Oscar is really saying, Virgil, you don't really want that smoke because Boots gonna whoop your butt. Uh, 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 Jerron Boots is gonna whoop your butt. So I mean, pump your brakes, man. Let's see if we can get you a good payday before he. I believe that that's what Virgil. I mean, that's what Oscar De La Hoya is really saying, right? He don't want. The heck happened here? What happened? Wow! Did you see that? Dang. Anyway, uh, Oscar De La Hoya really believes that Jerron Boots is would whoop Virgil Ortiz. That's why he's doing everything in his power. I think psychologically, right? Oscar De La Hoya has not said this. This is my interpretation of his behavior, right? When it comes to Virgil Ortiz and John Booth is making that fight. You know what I mean? 60-40 for Virgil. That's what he said. He said he wants 60-40 for his fight. That's the indication, in my highly educated opinion, that Oscar De La Hoya believes that Virgil Ortiz stand a snowball chance in hell of beating Gerard Booth, in my opinion. To back to uh, Eddie Hearns. Message to Eddie Hearns. Lighten up on the brothers, man. Lighten up on the brothers, man. Being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, and drop a comment in the comment section. And let me know if y'all see the same thing I do about Eddie Hearns. That being said, man, I am out. How do you do this?